Oh, the stunts. That's what I wanted to ask. So, so you did parkour as a result of the stunts? Like, what were you doing? You were doing this on movies, or what was this?
Well, I got into parkour to support doing stunts. I thought it would be cool. I didn't really want to be an actor, but I thought the world of making movies was really, really cool. And the James Bond movies, the newer ones, or not the new ones, but when the Daniel Craig one was coming out.
Yeah.
Like the first 007.
Casino Royale.
Yes. And then all these just action. I was always drawn to action movies. And I always thought it would be cool to be the person who could do, like, hang off the train or drive the car and then do a 180 into a parking spot, and Gone in 60 Seconds and doing that whole, like, everything that they were doing. I thought it was just the coolest thing. And so I was looking into different ways of what that was. And I was like, I found stunt work. It wasn't really a thought of, I want to go be a stunt person. It was, I think this world is really cool. I'm not an actor. What else could I do?
Yeah.
And so I went up to Los Angeles and I found this, or I was going back and forth. I lived in San Diego at the time. So every Tuesday and Thursday I would drive up to Los Angeles and go to this guy. He was a retired stuntman named Bob Yerkes. And he had this place in his backyard where there was bags, there were shipping containers, there was trampoline, tall ladder, you jump off into the bag.
Just broken glass on the ground,
right.
Knives hanging from the wall. Yeah.
Well, it was a stunt training center, not an official stunt training center, but a training area where you would have the older stunt guys come teach the new people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Coming in, and it was a rad community, and I stumbled upon it, not even stumbled. I was searching of how to break into it. I was scouring the internet and seeing who was on this movie, and then seeing if I could connect with them on LinkedIn or if they had a website, and then emailing them and how do I kind of get into this world. And one of them told me about Bob Yerkes, and so how did I officially get up there? I think somebody said, talk to this person. And so I went up there and I said, hey, I'm new. I'd like to get into stunt work. And so I would go up there every Tuesday and Thursday, train for 2 hours, and then turn around and go back down to San Diego. And then eventually moved up to Los Angeles and would just do small stunt things here and there, and got my SAG card because I wasn't in SAG, but they had wanted me in there or in their film, and so I got Taft-Hartley'd in.
Anything we know? Anything we know?
It was super, super tiny. It was called Fred the Movie.
Okay.
And I was the drowning girl.
Wait, Fred, I know that name.
Yeah, it was this YouTube guy, this YouTube kid who would make the diary of or something about Fred, I forget.
Yeah.
But anyway, they turned it into a movie, and so the girl was a blonde girl about my height, and she needed to pretend to drown, but the water was really cold, and they didn't want her to pretend to drown, so I had to pretend to drown. And then the leading guy came up and picked me up and took me over to the side, and then cut, and that was the scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny what's considered a stunt, because sometimes you got the dude like falling off a train into the roof of a car and, insane stuff. Some of that CGI, right? But like Jackie Chan level stunts. And then there's another one like, oh, we just don't want the girl to have to deal with the cold water.
Yeah.
So we got you deal with the cold water, Kirsten.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Stunt double, body double. I did a high fall off of a balcony. Wow. Into a bag, and it was
how high?
It was a couple stories up, or one story. Yeah, it was on the second level.
20 feet.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was what I was told. Mind you, I'm a new stunt person, and this is the sad story, because I was so excited to be a stunt person and moved up to Los Angeles. I was doing massage therapy at the time, so then I had a flexible schedule where I could go. They called it hustling the set. So at the time, you don't have an agent if you're a stunt person. need to get into the community, and then you need to meet all the stunt coordinators who are going to hire you for the job.
Yeah.
One way to do that is through Bob Yerkes, where you'd go up there and there would be a group of people, and you'd hope that you would meet a coordinator and they would like
networking.
you. Yeah, and it was like hyper networking, but hustling the set is, most sets are closed, mind you.
Right. That's what I'm like. How did you pull this off?
You go up, you have your headshot with your resume on the back, and you go up and you say, is the stunt coordinator here? And then you go find the stunt coordinator and hope that they're not having a bad day, that they're welcoming you and they know that this is the business, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But then you, hi, I'm Kirsten. Here's
whoa, really?
I'm getting stunts and blah, blah, blah. You give them your resume and your headshot. And that just freaked me out. I'm like, if this is how you have to do this, then I do not like getting in trouble. Like I fashioned my, like my high school years in a way where I could do stuff but not get in trouble.
Sure.
And, you know, it was just,
circumventing the system.
Yeah, I definitely worked it to my advantage. But like in front of people getting in trouble, I was like, oh my gosh, you want me to go do what and put myself out there? And what if they yell? And I don't do good with yelling. So that was a whole thing within itself. However, I would do just small stunts. They weren't for big, huge movies. Yeah. And I got connected to this one stunt coordinator, and he said, you know, we need you to jump off a second story. It's going to be into a bag. It's going to be a back fall, which how I learned it was that you're a back fall, but you can look down between your feet as you're falling back or right before, so you can see the target.
Okay.
And see where you need to land.
So you're facing away from the thing you're trying to fall into.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Gosh.
And that's how he said, he's like, they're going to cut it so it looks like you're flying off of this thing and you hit the ground. However, you'll jump off, you'll be on the other side of the balcony and you'll be able to look down and find the target and fall. Cool. And then they'll pop you up this thing and they'll cut and fashion it together and stitch it all together like they do in movies.
Yeah.
I let him know I was a new stunt person. I was like, I'm new to this. Yes, I can do a back fall, but I'm new to this. So in my head, I was being as transparent as possible. I go to this stunt. He has a fill-in stunt coordinator there for him. So the stunt coordinator, super, super nice guy, the guy who was there.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. They got me all ready. They walked me up to the second story. Oh, by the way, it's not only the balcony that you're going to be on the other side of, you're actually going to be on the floor side, jumping off a love seat, not seeing your target behind you. So I have to jump backwards, clear the back of the couch and the balcony, and land on my back without overturning. And they were telling me this. I was like, oh my gosh. And I looked at the stunt coordinator. I was like, this is not what he told me to do or how it was going to work out. And so I tested the love seat and it was extremely squishy. And you know, couches, you don't get a bounce off of a couch. So so he took me down and we were practicing jumping off of a chair into a bag, and it's a flip chair. So of course I'm going to clear the back of the flip chair, you know, and it's a hard service. So the time comes where now I need to go up to the steps, do this. And they got I asked him to get a board to put under the cushion of the couch. So then I at least have, like, I'm hitting something to jump off of. Yeah. I did so many 1, 2, 3, nope. 1, 2, 3, nope. I don't know how many times it actually took me to jump, but I eventually did it. And because I was trying to kick up my feet so I didn't hit the back of the couch and the balcony, but I over rotated. And so I landed on my upper back and shoulders, but my feet, luckily I'm flexible because my feet went boosh.
Oh, like over your, oh shit.
Over my head. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's an airbag that you're falling into. Yeah. So it's not, it's not like a foam.
So you bent in half backwards, basically. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was, and I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, I cleared it, hoping to God that they said that they got it on camera and I don't have to do it again. And I think it was either I did it so great that we didn't have to do it again, or I took up so much time.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing this again.
Yeah.
Anyway, they got what they needed on film. And
Wow.
the stunt coordinator came down. He was like, you did a great job. This kind of came out of left field for you. But good job. The rest of the day, I nailed everything. It was like, I felt so good driving away, and everybody was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, stunt coordinator, good job, high five. Get home, and the next day, the actual stunt coordinator calls me. He's like, so how did yesterday go? And I said, it went, you know, I did it. It was scary. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I did it. And he's like, okay, so what you're going to need to do is, in this business, don't lie to people. Don't tell them that you can do something when you can't. And just immediately just ripped my happiness to shreds and my confidence in it. And just, I cried after that conversation, because it was just like, yeah, it broke my spirit so much, because I was so proud of that I actually did it, and then nailed. He didn't even talk about everything else. And I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of stuff, but there was like a fall I had to do that I had to hit the ground really hard, and then there was like this other thing, and it was one of those where it's like, oh, ouch.
What was his problem, that you took a long time to do the jump? Is that?
I think it was, I took a long time to do the jump, but then I also didn't land properly, and I could have been really hurt.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big component of it too. So it was something where I always try to be as transparent as possible, even if it doesn't really paint me in perfect light. And having that previous conversation with him, letting him know I'm new to this. It's a backfall off of the opposite side of the balcony, so I can see the target.
Yeah.
Getting there. And it happens to stunt people all the time. That's why stunt people need to be so on their game, and they need to train, and they need to also, if you say you can do something, you can do that. If you say that you can climb 200 feet up in the air, you better be able to climb to 210 feet up in the air, or 250.
Right.
So it was just a very rude awakening that I don't think I was ready for. And my confidence wasn't ready for, and my mental capacity for what that lifestyle needed wasn't ready for that. So that was like why I say it's a sad story, is because that was the last stunt that I did. Aww. And I just kind of was like, I guess this isn't for me, because I didn't have the confidence in myself, or the reassurance to just be like, nope, you know what, I'm hitting it hard and I'm going to do even better. I allowed that to crush the dream of being a stunt person.
Yeah. Well, I think it took a lot of courage just to jump backwards out of a 2-story window. I mean, that's sounds pretty courageous to me. So I know there's different levels of what courage looks like. But it sounds like that guy was a little hard on you, and that probably hurt your confidence level. But yeah. Yeah.
I think he was also, he probably got it from the production company of, we were put behind time, or I think we actually ended on time when I left, because it was right at lunch, and they did it in a 2-part. So yeah, my stuff was in the morning, and then the other the other couple scenes were in the later half of the day. But you know what? 15 minutes is big in production.
Yeah.
And he may have received it on his end of, you gave us a stunt person and they didn't perform perfectly.
Right.
And they could have been hurt. And so I understand where he was coming from. I think this is also why I got into mindset and started that trajectory of, okay, what could have gone better? What could have gone different? And how could have I, reflecting back on that time, not just, shied away and put my tail between my legs and left. Yeah. How could I have really stood my ground and say, I'm better than this, and I'll do better next time. So it was a really great learning lesson. I had, my life went in a completely different trajectory. And again, things are meant to be how they work out. That's not coincidence. But I think that was a big component of, wanting to push myself, even with rock climbing, or with starting a business, or, doing the different things that, you can try and do.